Hey, Shalom, Sister Kate here. Finally, look, I am not encased in an ethereal glow. I got my phone repaired. So PJ peeled the screen cover off, and that was what was cracked. My screen is perfectly intact. So that glass screen cover was did its job. It was very protective. It got damaged, but the actual screen did not. So that's really neat. And then I knew in the back of my mind that I had some kind of little cover that came with this phone when I bought it. So I dug through all my stuff, found it, and put this on. It's a plastic cover, but it'll be better than nothing. Anyway, here I am. This is what I really look like. You can see my eye color. You can see my hair. This is an update for you all. I haven't had really much uploads for a month. Life has been wild. Just like last summer, all sorts of unplanned events going on and planned events. And we've had a record amount of rainfall. So our property has been completely different as well. All right, back to business. Just the tale of the health thing. As many of you know, my husband had a knee replacement surgery, which took 1 hour. Can you believe that? 1 hour to replace a knee? Amazing. And they showed us the knee joint. Looks like space age technology. And the surgery, I think the incision part was done by a robot. And the particular doctor was very excited because robots precise. They enter in all this information about my husband's anatomy and his knee and his bone density and all sorts of stuff. And then the robot surgical thing does the cut, and there's no shaking and there's no nervousness and no, a depth difference or anything like that. And it was amazing. He was out in 1 hour. So he is recuperating from that. Meanwhile, the jungle that we live in has burst forth with all the rain. So every plant on the place is growing like crazy, whether we want it to or not. So the garden looks good. Garden looks pretty healthy. I'll be uploading one of those shorter videos with just some photos from the garden. But also the other plants that we don't want growing out of control are growing out of control, like the locust trees. So that's been part of my battle so far this summer, is just to clear away enough space to plant some fruit-bearing trees, which I've done. And I have a friend, Nancy, who's a believer, and she gifted me 4, maybe 6 pawpaw trees. So we are going to plant the pawpaw trees and hopefully in a few years be able to harvest pawpaws. She also gave me a freeze-dried sample of pawpaw, which I got to offer to my congregation. Many of them had not heard of pawpaws nor tasted them. And she made wine with hers. So any kind of fruit really on a homestead is a benefit. You can do a lot of things with fruit. In this part of our summer, the blackberries have come ripe. So already I've had blackberries in my yogurt. I had a blackberry muffin for breakfast. And I am going to soon pick blackberries to freeze for guests who are coming who like blackberry. Probably end up making some blackberry jam this summer, possibly wine. Not sure about that. The grape harvest is looking really good. The grapes look healthy. The largest grapes that I've seen so far on the land, and that all the productivity right now is due to the rainfall. Just copious amounts of rain brought about another change that affected me, which I did post about. I got Rocky Mountain spotted fever through a tick bite, but Yah worked this illness for me in such a way that I was able to be tested and be treated without having extra drama. I didn't really develop the severe symptoms that come with it, which can make you very sick. There's a 30% mortality rate for people who do not get treated. And so, of course, I Googled the symptoms, and I started to have them in a very mild way, headaches and achiness mainly. But there's also some rash on your wrists and your ankle. In your torso, I did not have the rashes because when I went in to be treated for my tick bites, infected tick bites, and I had 4 of them this summer that just blew up, went from, little teeny tick bites and, treated with Neosporin, and then suddenly they're like that big. So I went in to have them treated and went into an ER, and the ER doctor said, we are going to test you for tick-borne illnesses. We have had more this summer than normal. So I'm thinking the fact that they've had more tick-related illnesses this summer is due to possibly this increased rain, but I don't know why. I don't know if it's the cooler temperatures that, made the ticks more active, or if the rain caused them to move into areas where they were close to where people are. Ticks normally are in the deep woods and really tall grass, maybe because the grass grew faster. Anyway, the way Yah made this unfold, because it was right during my husband's recovery, so I'm already having double duties, was when I went in to have those infected tick bites looked at, she put me on Doxycycline, and Doxycycline is the one antibiotic you use to treat Rocky Mountain spotted fever. They do have an alternative medicine if you're allergic to Doxy, but people who get on the alternative medicine don't recover at the same rate. It's more tricky, more risky if you are allergic to the Doxy. So I was already on the Doxycycline before they even knew I had Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And so when the test came back positive, I had already been taking a week's worth of Doxy. So I think that's why my symptoms never really fully developed. And I think that was a blessing from Yah, because I spent about 3 days just laying around the house due to the achiness and the mild headaches. It was just this plucky feeling, kind of like a hangover. But let's see, I've got to think about this. Once I'd had about 10 to 12 days worth of Doxycycline, the symptoms went away, which was, well, yesterday was my first full normal day here on the mountain, and I'm back in the swing of things. So praise the Lord for modern medicine. It's just amazing. Also, the brother who I posted about on my community page is communicating. They're going to extubate him now. He's not going to have a oxygen intubation. He had so many things wrong with him that were life-threatening, and yet here he is healed, and he is anticipated to be home. Now, I'm not saying 100% normal. They're going to do some neurological testing on him because of the way that his heart and lungs were really incapacitated. It can affect how your organs are doing, and the brain is part of that whole equation. Plus, when you've been put under for major surgery and they do intubate you, and he was on a ventilator, your brain, there's parts of your brains that get affected. It kind of shuts them down, and it takes a while for the effects of all of that to wear off. So, but it's still a praise to the Lord that he's doing well. And a third praise the Lord is Pastor is recovering well. He did initially start out doing too much, and then he had his first appointment with the physical therapist and the doctors and nurses after the surgery, and they all told him, you need to rest more. You need to just really rest for like a month. But as far as his scar and his knee and swelling and everything, he's still in a lot of pain, but they told him to expect that. But as far as how it looks, the bruising and everything is going away. He does have swelling in the knee, but not nearly as bad as it was before. So that's also a praise the Lord. And we get to look forward to him being fully recovered and then back to doing the things he likes to do here on the mountain. So I'm just really excited. I'm pleased. I'm glad to be able to do the video. I'm glad that I don't, that you can see what's around me, that you can see my features, you can see my expressions. The phone is in fine shape. I even upgraded to a bigger SD card, because one of the issues with the phone and the, you know, the videos and all that was I didn't have a lot of memory. I can't have a lot of apps on the phone because of that. And now I've got a brand new SD card. So everything's looking up. I'm super excited. There's still a lot of summer left and a lot of really cool stuff to do and get done. So here I am. I'm back. Thanks for hanging with me. I hope your summers are going really well, and I will see you soon. Shalom.